let's jump right in. We're diving deep into Penn State's victory over Wisconsin.
A win, but a costly one.
Yeah, a real nail-biter on the road against, well, the Badgers been on a hot streak.
They were, definitely.
But, of course, the big storyline, Drew Aller gets injured.
Uh-oh. Not what you want to see.
So, does this derail their playoff hopes? That's what we're here to figure out, right?
Absolutely.
We've got a bunch of recaps and analyses to dig through.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so first off, you saw Penn State moving the ball pretty well, but
But those early drives just couldn't convert them into points.
couldn't punch it in.
Yeah, and I mean, any given Saturday, right. This was a prime example of that.
Right, anything can happen.
Exactly. Penn State, number 3 in the nation, going up against, well, Wisconsin's no slouch.
No, they found their rhythm.
They did.
Yeah.
So it was never going to be a walk in the park.
It wasn't. And then those missed opportunities early on, I mean?
Yeah, that dropped touchdown pass.
Ah, brutal.
And then that failed QB sneak on the goal line, too, if those go differently.
Changes the whole game.
Absolutely. And the recaps really hammered that home, you know?
Especially when you see how Wisconsin capitalized, right? That penalty,
Yeah.
12 men on the field,
Oh, yeah. Gave Wisconsin that opening.
gave them their touchdown.
You just can't afford those mistakes against a team like that.
Nope. And then, of course, the Aller injury before halftime.
Oh, man, that was rough.
Talk about tension, you know?
Reading those recaps, you could practically feel it.
A litter goes out, backup Bo Pribula thrown right into the fire.
Trial by fire right there.
And it wasn't just at quarterback. The defense, too.
Yeah, Dennis Sutton, Anthony Donko, both out with injuries.
This game, man, it was like a test of Penn State's depth.
Big time. And the recaps I read, they all kind of highlighted that.
But here's the crazy thing, right? Despite all that, they still managed to put up some impressive numbers.
Yeah, how about that 80% completion rate?
Combined, Aller and Pribula,
Crazy.
right?
Especially under those circumstances. Shows you how seriously they take quarterback preparation.
Yeah, next man up.
Gotta be ready.
And Pribula didn't just, manage the game.
No, he made plays.
Made plays, settled in, smart decisions, helped them get that W.
Really impressive performance.
Yeah.
It actually makes you wonder, how much does quarterback style really impact the overall team success?
Interesting thought.
Aller, he's got that big arm, those downfield throws. Pribula, more of a game manager.
Makes you think, how does that impact the game plan against Ohio State?
Right. Who starts? How do they adjust?
Big questions. But before we get too ahead of ourselves,
The defense. Can't forget them.
seriously, shut down Wisconsin's first 2 possessions of the second half completely.
No yards, zip. Talk about discipline.
Talk about adjustments.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that pick 6 by Jalen Reed.
Momentum shifter right there.
Boom! Back in Penn State's favor.
Textbook read, jump the route. 6 points. Energize the whole team.
Yeah, those moments, that's what makes it all so exciting.
Individual effort can change the entire game.
Exactly. But let's zoom out a little, What does this win actually tell us about Penn State this season? Especially with Ohio State on the horizon.
Well, it's a statement win, isn't it? They're not just a one-man show, even with a talent like Aller.
They've got depth. They've got resilience.
And the coaching staff knows how to prepare these guys.
Yeah, Coach Franklin, man, he's built something special.
He has. Think about past seasons, right? A major injury, that was it, season over.
Right, but this year feels different.
Night and day. The next man up mentality, it's ingrained.
But that depth, how did it develop? It's not just recruiting, right?
No, it's creating a culture. Everyone's ready to contribute.
Okay, so how's he done that? The recaps didn't really go into detail, but you've been following this team for years. What are some specific examples of this philosophy in action?
Well, if you look back to 2021, for example, they lost Sean Clifford, their starting quarterback, against Iowa.
Oh, yeah, that was a tough one.
And it was like, boom, the season just fell apart.
Yeah, couldn't recover.
Didn't have the depth, not at the key positions.
So Coach Franklin really took that to heart, it seems.
He did. Had to build a program that could handle those blows.
And this Wisconsin win, that's the proof.
Exactly. Shows how far they've come.
Oh.
But okay, let's talk playoffs.
Yeah, gotta address the elephant in the room.
Ohio State.
Big, scary Ohio State.
Looming, and they've got their own injury woes, too.
Oh, yeah, the recaps mentioned their starting left tackle out for the season.
Ouch.
And now the backup might be down, too.
Man, that offensive line going up against Penn State's D.
That's what I'm worried about.
Right. Everyone focuses on the quarterback.
But the trenches, that's where it's won and lost.
All day long. And it's not just the O-line either.
What else?
Wide receivers banged up.
Oh, right. Impacting their passing game.
Yep. McCord's talented, but even he needs weapons.
So Ohio State top ranked, but
But beatable.
they're not invincible.
Not this year. They've got weaknesses.
And Penn State, they know how to exploit them.
They do. This isn't the Ohio State we're used to.
Dominating the Big Ten year after year.
Yep. This year's different.
Vulnerable, and Penn State, they can pull off the upset.
I think so, especially if that defense keeps playing like this.
Did you see that stat? Third quarter all season,
No points allowed.
not a single one.
That's insane. Halftime adjustments, on point.
It's not just one or two guys either.
Collective effort. Carter, Jacobs all over the field.
And the secondary, King, Dixon, lockdown.
They've been lights out.
It's a team, for sure.
Huh?
But hey, the offense deserves some love too.
Absolutely. Balanced attack.
The recaps, Allen running wild, 7 different receivers catching passes.
Not one-dimensional. That's what makes them dangerous.
So many ways to beat you.
Pick your poison.
Right. Allen running well opens up the play action for Pribula.
And if they control the clock, keep Ohio State's offense off the field.
Ooh, that's going to be key.
Big time. It's going to be such a fun game to watch.
I'm already nervous. But even if Aller's not back, this Wisconsin win.
It proves they're contenders.
They're for real.
Talent, depth, coaching. They can hang with anyone.
You know, we talked about depth earlier.
Yeah, the next man up thing.
5 games, Kevin Winston Jr. out.
One of their best defenders.
And the defense, it hasn't even skipped a beat.
Zane Durant stepped right in.
Seamless transition.
That's the kind of depth you need, especially in the Big Ten.
Okay, so Ohio State, big showdown. The question is,
Can they do it?
can they upset Ohio State? Even potentially without RR?
Can they cement that playoff spot?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It is, and I think it's possible. We talked about Ohio State's weaknesses.
And Penn State, they've got the talent, the coaching.
Big advantage.
And don't forget the momentum from this win.
Huge.
Home field advantage at Beaver Stadium.
The crowd's going to be wild.
And that desire, that fire to prove they belong.
Among the elite, they want that respect.
All of that matters.
This game, it could be an instant classic.
2 the best, something to prove.
National stage, you can't miss it.
Counting down the hours already. Okay, but before we wrap up, let's go back to something you said.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Quarterback style, how it impacts the team.
Right, fascinating topic, especially for Penn State right now.
We've seen what Aller can do, those explosive plays.
But he's young, can make mistakes,
And then Pribula, steady, doesn't turn the ball over.
but maybe not the same upside as Alar.
So, the age-old question, right? Risk versus reward.
High risk, high reward, or the safe conservative choice?
Tough call for a coach.
I think it depends on the opponent, the situation.
Ohio State, their firepower, maybe you need Alar's big plays.
But against a tough defense, maybe Pribula's consistency is better.
Interesting. So how's Coach Franklin going to play it?
He's a gambler, but he's also smart.
He adapts.
He does, and that's why this game is so exciting.
2 brilliant coaches, chess match,
Every decision magnified, so much at stake.
battle of wits. Fans are in for a treat.
Absolutely. And, even if Alar's not 100%,
This Wisconsin win, it shows they're legit.
legitimate contender, absolutely.
Talent, depth, coaching, they can compete.
With anyone, they've got something special, this team.
I think so too.
Never give up that belief, that bond.
Team of destiny.
They just might be.
All right, well, this has been a great deep dive.
It has.
But remember, this is just the start.
Keep digging into those sources, the stats, the analysis.
Form your own conclusions. What jumps out at you?
What are your predictions? Ohio State, what do you think?
Will Aller play? If not, can Pribula lead them to victory?
So many questions. We'll be back next week to explore them.
Stay tuned. Man, so much to think about heading into this Ohio State game.
It is, right? Feel like everything's set for a classic.
2 top teams, both with injuries, both with, well, they've got something to prove.
For sure, yeah. Big question for me is, can Penn State's depth, that resilience, can it really overcome Ohio State's talent?
That's the thing, right? They've got raw talent.
They do. Can Penn State slow down McCord? That offense.
That's a tough task for any defense, let alone one that's, dealing with injuries too.
Exactly. And then there's the whole quarterback situation.
Right, the big one. What's Coach Franklin going to do?
If Aller's even close to healthy, does he risk it?
Or does he stick with Pribula? The safe choice.
Man, these are the questions that keep me up at night.
Me too. But that's what we love about college football, right?
Oh, absolutely. Anything can happen.
Any given Saturday, the underdog can win, the top dog can crumble.
Exactly. In this game, it could be a turning point for both teams.
How so?
Well, think about it. A win for Penn State. That solidifies them, right? Playoff contender, no question.
Sends a message to the whole country.
They're for real. They're here to stay.
But a loss, I mean, it's not the end of their playoff hopes, but
It makes it a lot harder, for sure.
they'd have to win out, need some help from other teams.
Yeah, a lot of dominoes would need to fall their way.
On the flip side, Ohio State, a win keeps their perfect season alive.
National championship dreams still intact.
They've been the kings of the Big Ten for so long.
And they want to prove they're still the team to beat.
So yeah, a lot riding on this game, more than just a regular season matchup.
It's a clash of styles, a battle of wills, a statement game.
And for the fans, it's a chance to see history.
These are the moments we live for, the games we remember.
So yeah, grab your snacks, buckle up. It's going to be wild.
No doubt. Well, hopefully this deep dive has given you all some good insights.
Into Penn State's win over Wisconsin, what it means for Ohio State.
All the implications. But remember, this is just the beginning.
Keep exploring those sources, the stats, the analysis.
Form your own opinions. What do you think's going to happen?
Ohio State, what are you most excited to see?
Will Aller be back? Can Pribula pull off another win?
So many questions. We'll be back next week to discuss them all.
Until then, keep the college football passion alive.
See you next time.